Let's react to more of Bleacher Report's top 100 players of all time list. So they got James Harden at 34, which I think is actually one of the best placements on this list. No, he's not better than Dwayne Wade. He doesn't have a championship. He's not a great defender, but he is one of the greatest scorers who's ever walked the earth, despite some of the foul baiting. He's remanufactured his career with the Clippers, and he is definitely a top 35 player of all time. I think this placement is perfect. And if Chris Paul doesn't get hurt in 2018, man, like this is a whole different discussion, like easily top 25. And then I think Kawhi Leonard at 32 is probably perfect as well. Very little longevity, but he's one of the best on-ball defenders to ever live when he's healthy. Super, super good playoff resume. He always comes through when the games matter the most. He just doesn't play that much, and his career was honestly sort of a what if he had been healthier in San Antonio, if he had stayed with the Raptors, if he had had a good run with the Clippers. Like, I think this guy's career could have been so much better, and he's still like easily a top 30 to 35 player of all time. And then whether or not you think he should be ahead of Chris Paul is basically entirely dependent on what you think of individual accolades versus playoff success. Chris Paul obviously has no rings, but he's a 12-time All-Star. He's one of the greatest passers ever, and he was like an MVP frontrunner for a lot of his career with the Hornets and then with the Clippers. Like, this guy was a true floor general, like to a T for most of his career. I don't know if I would put him over Kawhi personally, but they're definitely in the same tier. Just depends on what your criteria is personally. This is not a bad placement at all. And then Giannis at 24 is goddamn perfect, if not a little low. When he won his title in 2021, that was an all-time great run. He was so dominant in that finals. 50 points in Game 6 to close out the Suns on a bum knee is ridiculous. He's got like an MVP. He's got 2 MVPs. I think at least 1 DPOY, if not 2. He's made a ton of all-star teams. He is just, I love this placement. This guy's an all-time great, and I really hope he has a nice second wind with the Bucks or whoever they trade him, because he is arguably the face of basketball right now. And then I'd personally put Jokic about 3 or 4 spots higher. They've got Kevin Garnett above him. They've got Jerry West and Oscar Robertson above him. I wouldn't put him past Kevin Durant, but I think 17 is a little low. This is probably the best offensive player we've ever seen mathematically. He breaks basketball in so many ways. He's won a bunch of MVPs. He is arguably the greatest offensive center who's ever lived. Arguably the greatest offensive player who's ever lived. Give Jokic his respect, man. And then I think Kevin Durant at 13 is perfect. His rings are kind of fraudulent, but he's probably the most talented, pure bucket getter ever. And he's got the championships. He's got the longevity. He's got the all-star appearances and was a solid defender in his prime. Then Steph at 10, no notes, second greatest point guard of all time. Love it. And then LeBron at 2, no comment.